All right, guys, so now since you are, in fact, the best one-step equation solvers, we are going to move into two-step equations today to solve. So in order to do this, we are going to identify our variable. So in number one, we've got t, but 5 is attached to the t. So we are going to box both the 5 and the t. Now, how am I going to undo my operations? Well, I see with the 5t on the right side that I'm subtracting by 20. So we are going to undo subtraction, which is add. And what we do to one side, we do to the other side of our equal sign. So I want to make sure that we include our drop down here. All right, as we discussed yesterday, we are going to do this pair of subtracting 20 and adding 20, add to make 0, or they undo each other, leaving us with 5t equals whatever 10 plus 20 is. Well, 10 plus 20 is 30. All right, now we are super, super close. Notice that we still have t, but it's not by itself. So I'm going to box it again to show you that we still have an operation going on with our variable. So we have to undo that operation. And since I don't see a plus sign in between, I don't see a minus sign or a subtract sign, I also don't see a divide sign. So this means this must be multiplying by 5. And to undo that, we divide by 5. Not only on one side, but also the other. Keep me in balance as we do this. So if I multiply by 5 and divide by 5, they undo each other as operations, leaving us with just t equals 30 divided by 5 ends up giving you 6. So t should equal 6. Now, if we wanted to do a quick check, we can to make sure that we're doing it properly in terms of what we get as our answer. So if I take 10 equals negative 20 plus 5 times our t, which is 6, we could literally type all of this into our calculator. So let's do that together here. Negative 20 plus 5 times 6 is 10. So it in fact equals 10, which means that it has to be our answer or our solution. So 6 is t. All right, so let's take a look at number 2 because this guy is a little different. And I want to make a note of why it's different. So number 2, notice with our variable x is surrounded by these things called parentheses. So when x is surrounded by parentheses, you have to be very, very careful. And why is because you actually have to do what we call distribute. You are going to take the number from the outside and multiply it to the inside. So we're going to take 4 times x, which ends up giving us 4x. And we're going to multiply 4 times negative 8, which ends up giving you negative 32. And that should equal our negative 4. So watch out for those parentheses that triggers the distribute step. I may want to write that here, that this is distribute. And once we distribute, then we can identify our variable and what we need to go for here. So I see my 4x, and I need to undo my operation. So instead of subtracting by 32, we're going to add by 32 to both sides. All we're going to end up bringing down our 4x. I'll keep it the same. When we subtract 32 and add 32, that makes 0, or it undoes itself as operations. And now we have 32 minus 4, or negative 4 plus 32. And as we type that into our calculating device here, we end up getting 28. Now, to finish it off here, to get x completely by itself, we have to undo the 4 that's in front of it. So since I don't see an addition, subtraction, or division sign, that means we have to divide. So we're going to divide by that 4. Multiplying and dividing by 4 in the same time, or at the same time, will undo each other, leaving us with x equals 28 divided by 4 should be 7 as our final answer. And as we said before, guys, you can always check your solution. So if I wanted to do a quick check, it would go a little bit like this, where we would take 4 in parentheses. Inside that parenthesis, we would put in our value of x, which is 7, that we found it to be, minus 8, and would that equal negative 4 is the question. So if you wanted to test this theory, you could use your calculator and type in this entire left side. So you'd type in 4 parenthesis, 7 minus 8, close parenthesis, and hit enter. And it does, in fact, give us negative 4, which means that 7 has to be my answer or my solution. All right, guys, 2 more to go, just to play around a little bit more. All right, so take a look at number 3. So my variable is little a, but a is being divided by 2. So we're going to take it all together there. And now we have to undo our operation. So instead of adding by 8 on the right side, we are going to subtract by 8 on both sides of our equation, which means that our positive and minus 8 go to 0 or undo each other, leaving us with a over 2 equals 18 minus 8 ends up giving us 10. And now, guys, we have to get a completely by itself. So instead of dividing by 2, we're going to reverse that or undo it by multiplying by 2 on both sides of our equal sign. So when we multiply and divide, they undo each other as operations, leaving us with little a equals 2 times 10 is 20. And a quick little self-check there is always good to make sure that you're feeling good about your final result. So we've got 18 equals, we found little a to be 20, divided by 2 plus 8. So if you really want to check your answer, take your 20, hit the divide button right here, the divide by 2, and then plus 8. Let's see if that'll, yep. And it gave us 18, which is what it should equal, if that is the correct answer. So we're good. Okie dokie, so let's try number 4. We're looking at the variable, and up here in the top of this fraction, n is being added with 3. But that's not what I want to focus on just yet. I want to focus on getting rid of or undoing the division by 11. So how do I undo divide? I multiply both sides by the 11. So if I multiply and divide at the same time, that undoes the operation, leaving us on the left side with n plus 3 only. Bring down our equal. And 2 times 11 is 22. Now to finish this guy up, we need to get n completely by itself. So to undo addition, we use subtraction. Both sides of my equal. Again, we'll bring this guy down. If I add and subtract 3, they go to 0 or they undo each other. And last but not least, what the heck is 22 minus 3? Enter. And that's 19. Awesome. So our answer for n should be 19. And last but not least, guys, let's check it up. So let's do a quick check. In our check, use the original equation. So we're going to use the 19 in place of n. And check those operators. So if I add 3 and divide by 11, would that equal 2 is the question. So if we really need to go about it here, we'll take 19 plus 3. Now I need to put that in parentheses because I want all of that being divided by 11. Otherwise, my calculator is dumb and it doesn't like it. So in fact, it does give you 2. Just be careful. All right, sometimes your calculator is good with that and sometimes it's not. All right, guys, that is solving two-step equations. And now you're going to practice.